Good morning, boys. Today I'll discuss two topics of subject business studies, chapter public, private and global enterprises. In this chapter we have studied already so many topics. We have also studied the concept and features of government companies. Today I'll discuss two topics, that is advantages of government company as well as disadvantages of government company. Obviously, where there will be the advantages, there may be possibility for the disadvantages. So in this topic, first I would like to clarify the advantages of government company. Advantages in the sense merits of the company. What are the advantages of the government company? I would like to see through the given points. See, first one point, that is the easy formation. Here easy formation in the sense the government companies are established under the Companies Act 1956. To form the government company, there is no need for making any special law, any special act before establishing of the business enterprise. Here already the law exists, that is Companies Act 1956. So to establish any government company, there is need for only following those law, rules and regulations which are formulated or which are noted or which are exist in the Companies Act 1956. Because of the involvement of the government as a major owner of the company, that's why it will automatically become very easy process to establish, because government institutions always follow all provisions, rules and regulations of the act. And if any business unit can be formed in very easy way, that will be considered obviously the advantages or merits or merit of that will consider also advantage or merit of the enterprise. So in shortcut, it can be said that it is very easy process to establish a government company because of the no need for making any law or act for the establishment of the companies. Next point here, as internal autonomy. Though it is the government company, but it has freedom to do the work on their own self basis under the law provided in Companies Act 1956. And it can make rules and regulations as per own requirement. It can handle its activity as per your own terms and conditions, because it is considered as the artificial person, because the company which is established under the Companies Act, that is considered as the artificial person, and the company has the right to do the work as per their own terms and on the basis of own terms and conditions. So in day-to-day activities, there will be total autonomy, total freedom to government company to operate its activity, and doing activity on own sale basis, own terms and conditions will also be considered as a matter of advantage. There is no need for taking permission from anyone for day-to-day activity. But there is also matter the company will have to follow the law provided in the Companies Act 1956. Within the law, within the framework of the law, the company can do its activity on daily basis as per own requirement, as per own terms and conditions, as per own business requirements. So it is matter of advantages at here. Next one, perpetual existence. Perpetual existence means continuous or continuity of the government companies. There will no any effect of change in government. No effect. Change in ruling party. Government change time by time, ministers change time by time. Outsider shareholders also change time by time, but there is no any effect of the effect on the activity of the government companies. And that's why it is said that the existence of the government company is on continuous basis or on perpetual basis. Obviously very clear. If any organization, any enterprise serving the nation for long times, there will be no problem on the existence of that enterprise. That will be matter of advantages, because there are several government companies who are working, who are serving the nation for long times, and perpetual existence of the business or enterprise in the market or in the country can be better for the point of view of the nation as well as for the point of view of the people of the country. So it is also matter of advantages. A government company which is established, that is not for a short period, that is for long period, and there is no any effect of change in government, change in ruling party, change in ministers, but that's why it is also a matter of merit. Next point of the advantages, that is the accountability. You have seen earlier also in different government enterprises like departmental undertaking and statutory corporation, there are also accountability. I have already clarified this point, accountability, because of the ownership of the government. Government is, business is accountable to the government, and government is accountable to the representative of the house or representative of the people. And accountability means answerability. The concerned minister, the report, financial reports of the government companies are also presented, and concerned minister will have to also answer the question raised by the representative of the house. And it is very necessary, it is very obviously clear that if anyone is answerable, that means that one will perform the activity up to the standard. So because that person will have to answer to someone. Like that one, here government company is also accountable or also answerable to towards the nation because of the ownership in the hand of the government, major ownership, not complete ownership, but major portion of the ownership in the hand of the government. That's why accountability, and accountability is the matter of advantages. Next one, protection of consumer interest. Here, their motive obviously is earning also profit because of the involvement of other owners from the private areas or general public. They are 51% or more than 51% contribution will be of the paid up capital by the government, but other portion will be from the other sources. For that one, there may be possibility, there will be motive of the earning profit, but due to the involvement of the government always pay attention, or government always prior, pay attention on the priority of the satisfaction of the customers, consumers, like their taste, fashion, choice, price, and better quality of product and services. About all these factors, government always pay attention, because main motive of government is not to earn profit, but because of the involvement of other owners, there may be the motive of the government companies to earn profit but not maximize the profit. At any cost, profit should be maximum. This principle will not be of the government company, because of the ownership, major portion of the ownership in the hand of the government. So it can be said that in the government companies, there will be priority given by the company for protection of the consumer's interest. I have just now clarified what types of interest may be: choice, taste, fashion, design, quality of product, quality of service, and price of the product, always reasonable, so that the consumer can satisfy, can enjoy more and better services. Next one here, advantages, that is efficient staff. Since government company run on own self basis, there will be internal autonomy for its operation. That's why government company try to appoint well qualified person or employees by paying sufficient remuneration to them according to their qualification, knowledge, and experience. Obviously, very clear, if in any institution, well qualified, well trained, well experienced person or employees are appointed, then obviously possibility for development of the organization to the great extent. And it is possible because of the internal autonomy of the company. Employees of the government companies are considered as the employees of the government, employees of the company. That's why company always pay attention to employ such a candidate who are efficient in all respect. In all respect in the sense knowledge, experience, efficiency. For that, company always pay high charges to them according to their qualification and knowledge. So it can be said that employment or employing the efficient staff in the company can be always beneficial for the development of the company. Next one, collaboration. Collaboration in the sense, here will be the collaboration of the public and private. As we are well known, the private sector owners may have the sufficient idea about the business dealings. And here involvement it is seen that major portion of the capital contributed by the company, but there are also the contribution of capital made by the private individuals, and there will be the collaboration of these two. And on one hand, major capital portion will be from the government, while on the other hand, along with the capital, efficient or well experienced about the business dealings matter are also working at one platform. So these types of collaboration can be also beneficial for the development of the institution, because government involvement and private entrepreneurs involvement, both working at one platform, and that will be beneficial for using of both matters. Capital factors, because of the involvement of the government, there is no problem to finance and fund, and while on the other hand, involvement of the private owners, that will also beneficial because of they have sufficient dealing about the business matters. So collaboration of these two functioning at one platform, at one place, may be always beneficial to the institutions. Next and last point of the advantages, or last point of the advantages or merits of the government company, that is the commercial attitude. Here the motive of the government company is to earn profit. They perform their activity on by having motive of the commercial matter. By commercial point of view, they keep their motive, and their motive is not only for serving people of the nation, because of the involvement of the private sector owners or private individuals. Their motive is to deal like having the motive of commercial purpose. Here commercial purpose in the sense, commercial purpose in the sense by motive of earning profit along with serving to the people of the nation. So it can be said that because of the commercial point of view, private individuals are interested to become the owner of these types of companies. So it is also matter of the advantages, but here commercial purpose in the sense having motive of earning profit, but not having the motive of maximization of profit. Their motive is to earn profit, but not motive is to maximize their profit. That's why it can be said that it is also matter of the advantages, because obviously any business activity is done that should be, so that will survive if it provides the profit to the owner. So it can be said that government companies motive or functioning is based on commercial attitudes. In this way, advantages of the government company are completed. Now the next topic, that is the disadvantages of the government company. There, in spite of having several advantages of government company, there is also disadvantages of the government company. That is the first point, lack of professionalism. Since major portion of the ownership in the hand of the government, so directors are appointed by the government with the help of the private individuals. But in appointment of the directors, there will be the major role of the government, and directors are appointed by the government. They are public servant. They don't have sufficient idea about business dealing, and their job is also transferable. They don't have sufficient idea about the management of the business factors. They may have the intelligent, well qualified, but there's rare possibility for having sufficient knowledge about the business dealings. So it can be said that the directors or authority or officials, government officials who are appointed to manage the business, they are not expert professional in business dealings. If management or directors are not professional in business dealings, then obviously it is very clear it is matter of disadvantages for the government company. So it is a strong demerits of the government company that the directors are officials who are appointed by the government, because government is major portion in ownership. Those officials or directors may not have sufficient knowledge about the business dealing and management, that may cause for the disadvantages or demerits of the government company. Next one, autonomy on paper only. Autonomy on paper only means freedom. It is said that they are free to do their works. But because of the ownership in the hand of the major portion of ownership in the hand of the government, there may be possibility for interruption of the concerned ministers, government officials, politicians in the dealing of the business activity. They may play role, direct, indirect, in the dealing of the companies. If it is happened, then it can be said that full autonomy is not impractical. That is on the paper only. So it is also a matter of demerit if it is happened that the interruption of the concerned ministers, politicians, government officials in the dealing of the business activity, then it can be considered as the full freedom can't be seen at here. Autonomy can be only on the paper. So it is also demerit. Next one, loss of the interest of the private shareholders. Since major contribution of paid up capital by the government, on that basis, major role played by the government for handling, for dealing the activity of the business. And other shareholders, private shareholders are in minority. They can't be the major role player. Whatever policy systems are functioning or formulated, those are formulated by the government, because major portion of the contribution of the capital by the government. In this case, there may be possibility for not fulfillment of the requirement or a motive of the private shareholders. So it can be said that private shareholders are in minority. That's why their interests are not fulfilled because of the major portion of the capital contributed by the government. And if it is happened, then obviously it is very clear one part of the owners are not satisfied, one part of the owners are not satisfied, while other part of the owners are playing very vital role for fulfillment of their motives and objectives. Now, next point, want of service security of the employees. The employees of the government companies are not considered as the employee of the government. They can't enjoy the services, facilities provided by the government. They are considered as the employee of the government. And in case of the employee of the government, it is not surety that they are fully secured or their job are fully secured. If it is happened, in that case, it is also the negative point, it is also the demerit point for the employee's point of view. So it can be said that surety and security of service of the company's employees are not fixed. So it is also a matter of demerit or disadvantages. Next one point, lack of personal initiative. Lack of personal initiative means, in case of the government company, the directors who are appointed by the government, they don't have personal interest in the company. They are government, they are public servant. There is no need for them to buy the share of the company. They are appointed by the government. That's why they don't take initiatives for improvement of the companies, because of their interest is not at there. While in case of other companies, there may be possibility, there will be the director will have to purchase the share of the company. In that case, their interest attached with the company. But in this case, in case of government companies, the directors who are appointed by the government, there are no need for them to buy the share of the company. That's why their personal interests are not attached to the company. In this case, it can be said that there is lack of the personal initiatives. There is lack of the personal initiatives, which can be also considered as the disadvantage of the government company. Next and last point, hindrance in the achieving goals. Hindrance in the achieving goal in the sense, since ownership will be in the hand of two groups. On one hand, there will be the government, while on the other hand, there will be private investors. That's why the private investors are considered in minority. Their requirement, their motive, their interests may not be fulfilled. In that case, there may be chance for polarization among themselves, which can create the hindrance or problems for achieving goal of the company. And it is also a matter of demerit for the development of the government company. So in this way, today I have completed two topics, that is one, advantages of government company, and second one, disadvantages of government companies. Thank you boys. Have a nice day. In the next class, I will start the next topic.